Our next question, and if it's not our last one, our second to last one, but we'll see how this goes.
Should I tank this or go on? Which one are you looking for?
Well, this was sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Donnie in Tamaqua.
Tamaqua, Oklahoma?
Doesn't specify. Okay, here's the question.
No, that's Tahlequah. There's a Tahlequah, Oklahoma. There must be a Tamaqua, New Jersey.
In 1996, when the Ultimate Warrior was fired in the summer and Sid was brought in to fill the vacant spot.
Oh, good God.
How far was that spot for the Ultimate Warrior booked out? In other words, when it was Sid versus Shawn Michaels for the WWF title at Survivor Series 96, was that originally slated months in advance for the Ultimate Warrior to face Shawn Michaels for the title?
Maybe in Vince's head, but it wasn't put on paper that far. I'm just looking back to that time. The Survivor Series 96 was November 17, 1996 in New York City. And who did he say? Well, Sid,
it was Sid versus Shawn. Yeah.
It was Sid with Shawn. No, the Warrior was gone by, I'm backing up here, summertime. He just said, was it June or July? Or did it even last that long? I'm trying to find out when he had his meltdown.
But if he hadn't had, I guess that's part of the question. If he hadn't had that meltdown, was he going to win the title? Was he going to be in the main event against a Shawn Michaels or someone else at Survivor Series? What were the plans for Ultimate Warrior when he left?
No, Shawn Michaels was never going to fuck it. If Shawn Michaels wouldn't do a job for anybody, can you imagine booking Shawn Michaels and the Ultimate Warrior? For fuck's sake. I don't think Vince would have been that crazy if it had come up. Warrior wouldn't have sold anything. He would have considered Michaels too small. He would have wanted, if he beat Helmsley like that, can you imagine what he would have wanted to do to Michaels? Also, Michaels was way fucking smarter politically and capable, because Warrior was out in the woods and mentally, and capable of coming up with many more excuses to not have a match or to not lose a title. He could lose his smile, but he couldn't lose the belt. So that would have been a disaster to even put on paper. And I don't know what they would have done with the Warrior. I guarantee you that we never discussed putting the WWF Championship on the Warrior when he made his return, because I was on the creative team. The idea of pushing him to the title was never discussed. He was going to be there. He was going to be an attraction. You know, he was going to be used on top. He was in all those fucking, the group match that he was in with, who was it? Him and Ahmed Johnson, Warrior, Ahmed Johnson, and who else at the time were kind of the upper level baby faces, but not guys that were going to be in the title picture, right? I'm just looking at some of these fucking cards, and there wasn't time to fucking do any major planning with him. I'm still trying to find, Ultimate Warrior pinned Isaac Yankem DDS with the flying shoulder block and splash. That was Glenn Jacobs' last TV appearance for 5 months. That was in April. When did Sid come in and replace Warrior? Because when did Warrior have the meltdown about the fucking toy fair and his logo and everything?
I don't remember the exact date. I would have guessed July.
Because then we had to, I'm kind of thinking the same thing. That's why I'm looking there, because then we also did that angle. It was up at the Hartford Civic Center in the parking garage where Sid was revealed, and we did some kind of chase scene and got some heat on the heels. That's when Owen and Bulldog fucking shaving creamed my goddamn Ford Taurus. I had to drive all the way home with a car covered in shaving cream. But anyway, the international incident in your house July pay-per-view, he's nowhere around, so he's gone by then. Psycho Sid sub for the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, they just brought Sid in to substitute for him, and basically on that Vancouver pay-per-view as Vader, Owen Hart, and Davey Boy with me against Michaels, Ahmed, and Sid. Because remember, Michaels was still a babyface at that point. So, no, there was, and I guarantee you that Warrior definitely would have never been matched against Shawn Michaels in a babyface match if Vince had anything to do with it. So it evolved without him. That was not there was no idea that Shawn Michaels was going to face Sid or the Ultimate Warrior at the Survivor Series that year because he was still a babyface and they didn't know what the fuck all he was going to do yet. He had lost his smile. He didn't lose his smile till the next year. But Brett was gone, and Shawn was trying to be the boyhood fucking hero guy, and it was just blah. So no, that wasn't Warrior's spot, and there was no talk that I was ever around about making him the champion at that point in time on that run.
When he melted down, do you remember the conversation of, let's call Sid?
That was a conversation that Vince McMahon had with the voices in his head. Because when I heard that Sid was coming back, the phone call had already been made. And I'm like, and I was highly against it because he had just fucking, 2 or 3 years previously stabbed and tried to kill Arn Anderson in England in that whole deal. And I'm like, fuck, Sid was a nicer person to just sit and talk to. If you weren't in the wrestling business, you just wanted to sit in a room and talk to somebody, you get a lot more out of Sid than you would out of the Ultimate Warrior. But as far as the wrestling business, here we're trading a muscle-bound idiot who can't do anything for a muscle-bound kind of semi-idiot who can do a few things. And is also a former attempted murderer. That's why I named him Psycho Sid, because I told Vince, I said, you realize he's psycho? That's a great name, pal. We can do a play. SS, Psycho Sid. I said, there's a P in Psycho. We'll do it SY. There you go.